Dear students, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss about the other method of finding HCF and miscellaneous problem related to LCM and HCF. As in our previous session, we have already learned about LCM and HCF and how to find it by applying fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Today we will discuss another method of finding HCF called successive division method or long division method. Let us quickly recap whatever we have learned till date. So we have learned about the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. This fundamental theorem is prime factorization of a composite number n. So a composite number n can be written as product of their prime factors with respective exponent. Then their application we have learned. So in this application we have learned about three categories of application. The first was writing the factor tree and find the missing entries in factor tree. The second was predicting the n digit of an exponent, say m to the power n. And the third application was finding the LCM and HCF by prime factorization method. Today we are going to discuss about the application of LCM and HCF, where we need to find the LCM and HCF, but in the question whether LCM or HCF is to be calculated is not overtly asked. So there we have to anticipate whether LCM is applicable or HCF is applicable. Let us start. First we will just go through the alternative method of finding HCF called successive division method. Then we will go for the miscellaneous problem related to LCM and HCF. The possible method of finding HCF are enumerated here. Very first method is prime factorization method. This is done by applying the fundamental theorem of arithmetic by writing the given numbers as product of their prime factors, then choosing the factors accordingly whether we need to calculate HCF or LCM. HCF by prime factorization method is calculated by taking the product of the smallest power of each common prime factor in the number, while the LCM is calculated by taking the product of greatest power of each prime factor involved in the number. This we have already learned. Today we are going to learn another method of finding HCF called successive division method or long division method. This method is also applicable for two number as well as for more than two number. So first we will say how it is applicable for two number, then how it is applied for three or more numbers. So for two numbers, if two numbers are given, then for finding the HCF by successive division method, we first divide the bigger number by a smaller number, then we find the remainder there. So this is one step. For next step, we take the remainder of this first step as the divisor and divisor of the first step as dividend for the second step. This way we will again calculate the remainder for second step, and this continue till the remainder becomes 0. When the remainder becomes 0, for that step, whatever be the divisor is there, that divisor is acting as a HCF, means highest common factor for the two given number. Therefore, we can write like this. For two number, take the largest number as dividend and divide it by the smaller number as divisor and get the remainder. This is our first step. Then for next step, take earlier remainder as divisor and earlier divisor as new dividend and find the remainder. Continue the above step till remainder becomes 0. Then at this step, means where the remainder becomes 0, the divisor means the preceding remainder is the required HCF. So we will solve the example based on this to understand it more. What are these steps? Now for three numbers, if we have three numbers, say A, B, C, here the three numbers means take A, B and C. Then for these three number, we first calculate the HCF of the two number by applying the successive division method. Then the HCF of these three number is calculated by taking the HCF of the two numbers A and B calculated above with the third number. This can be written as, for three number, first find the HCF of any two by successive division, then the HCF of all three is calculated by taking HCF of the third number with the HCF of two numbers calculated earlier. Therefore, it can be written like this: HCF of ABC is calculated by first taking the HCF of A and B, then HCF of ABC is calculated by taking the HCF of earlier HCF of A and B with C. So this is how it is calculated. So let us solve one example to understand it more. And this method of finding HCF by successive division method is also called as Euclid division lemma. So the method of successive division written stepwise in the form of A is equals to BQ plus R, where R is greater than 0 but less than B, is called Euclid division algorithm. More detail we will learn in next section. So let us take one example. So by applying the long division method or successive division method, we have to find the HCF. So find the HCF of 657 and 963 by long division method. And we also have to verify our answer by the method of prime factorization. So here we are observing that the two numbers are 657 and 963. Since 963 is bigger than 657, so take this 963 as dividend and this smaller number 657 as divisor. Now go for dividing this 963 by 657. So 963 is to be divided by 657. So we are observing that, so it is only one time that we will get, it become 657. Taking the difference, we will get the complete division is, all the steps are done as follows. So 963 is taken as dividend and 657 as divisor. Then this 657 will go only one time. So take this quotient as 1, putting 657 here, take the difference from the dividend, we are getting this is the remainder. Remainder is 306. Now this 306 is to be taken as new divisor and this earlier divisor 657 as new dividend. Therefore, okay, so taking this 657 as new dividend and earlier remainder 306 as new divisor, we are getting that the new remainder is 45. Now again we have to take the earlier divisors 306 as new dividend and 45 as new divisor. Then we are getting the remainder is, now taking this 45 as new dividend and 36 as divisor, we are getting the remainder is 9. Now take this 36 as new divisor and 9 as remainder, we are getting that new remainder is 0. So when this new remainder is 0, at this time the divisor is 9. So therefore this 9 will act as the HCF of two number 963 and 657. So whatever the divisor of last step, when the remainder becomes 0, is acting as HCF in successive division method. The same thing is written here. So dividing 963 means as dividend by 657, as divisor we get remainder R. Take earlier remainder as divisor and earlier divisor as dividend and find the remainder. Continue till the remainder becomes 0. Then at this step the divisor means preceding remainder is required HCF. These steps can further be written as the very first step 963 can be written as 657 when the divisor is 657 into 1 plus 306. Then now taking this 657 which was earlier divisor as new dividend and earlier remainder as new divisor, we can write like this: 657 is equals to 306 into 2 plus 45. Again 306 will be new dividend and 45 will be new divisor. Then this 306 is equals to 45 into 6 plus 36. Now again take this 45 as new dividend and 36 as new divisor. We can write like this: 45 is equals to 36 into 1 plus 9. Now this 36 can be taken as new dividend and 9 as new divisor. Then 36 is equals to 9 into 4 plus 0. At this stage we are getting that there is no remainder, means the divisor at this stage means 9 is acting as our HCF. So writing these steps of successive division to get the HCF when the remainder becoming 0 is called as Euclid division lemma or Euclid division algorithm. So this thing we will discuss in next section. Okay. So this was how to calculate the HCF by long division method. This can also be verified by applying the prime factorization. Even this longer division can be written in a simplified fashion. Here we are getting that it is taking too much space, but this can be written in a compact fashion, means writing all this step in a box or in a small area. So for that we have to take the very first step as it is. So take this 963 as dividend, divide it by 657, it will give a quotient of 1 and the remainder at this time is 306. So write the remainder here. So very first step is we have to divide this 963 by 657 to give the remainder, this one. Now take this remainder as new divisor and then we have to divide 657, means dividing 657, and whatever the quotient that will come we will write on the left column. Here while moving in this forward direction or in horizontal direction, whatever the quotient was coming we were writing in the right column. Now 657 have to divided by 306. Here it will go for 2 times, means quotient will be 2, so write 2 here, it becomes 612. Now taking the difference we are getting it is 45. Now this 45 will act as divisor for the dividend 306. So now dividing this 306 by 46, it will give a quotient of 6, then it becomes 270. Taking difference, the remainder is 36. Now this 45 have to be divided by new remainder, so we have to go in slanting upward direction like this one. Here it will go for one time, so write the quotient on left column. It becomes 36, the remainder is 9. Now again go horizontally. For 36, 9 is 4 times, write quotient 4. Here we are getting the remainder is 0. So when the remainder is 0 at this time, whatever be the divisor is 9. So this divisor will be the HCF. So this way the successive division method, which is taking more space, can be written in a compact way or compact fashion. So writing in this way in a square form is called box method. So both are the same. This box method is nothing but writing the earlier successive division method in a compact box form. So this can be verified by factorization method. So go for factorization of this 657. 657 is divisible by 3. It becomes 3 2s are 6, 3 1s are 3, then 27, 3 9s are is this much. Again it is divisible by 3. Go for this division. 3 7s are, then 3 3s are. Therefore this 657 can be written as 3 square into 73. Similarly, go for factorization of 963. So 963 is also divisible by 3. So it becomes 3 3s are, 3 2s are, 3 1s are. Again it is divisible by 3. So 3 1s are 3, then there is 0, then there is 7. So this can be written as 3 square into 107. Here we are getting the common factors in this prime factorization is 3 square, and here is also 3 square. Therefore HCF is given by 3 square. It is 9 again. So this way it is verified. So this is how to calculate the HCF by long division method or successive division method or Euclid division algorithm. Now let us go for the 3 numbers. So we have to find the HCF of the 3 number 24, 36 and 52, and the same have to be verified also by factorization method. So first we have to take the HCF of 2 number by successive division method. So taking that HCF, here 36 is bigger than 24. So let us write in compact way in box form. So 36 and 24. So 24, 36, the quotient will be 1, remainder is 12. Now this 12 will divide this 24. We are getting the quotient is 2. Now the remainder is becoming 0. So here this 12 will be the HCF. So this can be written in a step wise also. So 36 is 24 into 1 plus 12. Now 24 is 12 into 1 plus 0. So here the HCF is our 12. So this was the HCF for 24 and 36 only. But we need to find the HCF of 24, 36 and 52. So for these three, the HCF will be the HCF of 24, 36 with the 52. Now the HCF of 24 and 36 is 12. So we can substitute 12 here. Now the new HCF again we have to calculate by the box method or successive division method. Take 52 here, divide it by 12. We are getting it is 4 times 48. Remainder is this 4. Now this 12 had to be divided by this 4. We are getting the remainder as 0. So therefore this 4 is acting as the HCF of 12 and 54. So therefore the HCF of all these three will be the HCF of 12 and 52, it is calculated as 4. This can also be verified by the factorization method. So 24 is factorized as 2 cube into 3, 36 as 2 square into 3 square, then 54 as 2 square into 13. Here we are getting that the HCF, the common factor is 2 square. Means 2 is common and the smallest power of 2 which is common is square. So answer is 4. You can do more practice with these questions. So this was about how to calculate by long division method. Now we shall go for the other topic called miscellaneous problem related to LCM and HCF. This is also called as the word problem. Here in question it will not be directly given that whether we have to calculate the LCM or HCF, but we have to anticipate whether LCM is applicable or HCF is applicable. So depending on the question, we have to find the LCM and HCF. So for this, very first we shall read the question carefully and understand whether LCM or HCF is required or applicable. Then while applying this LCM and HCF, we shall also take care of the auxiliary things, like if any length is given as a mixture of meter and centimeter, then it should be totally converted either into meter or into centimeter. Means proper adjustment of units, proper adjustment of decimals or fractions. These things to be taken care before going for LCM and HCF. So use auxiliary concepts like unit change, number adjustment, etc. if required. Now here we have to find the LCM or HCF. So how to anticipate whether LCM is applicable or HCF is applicable? So by reading the question we can anticipate, but for your convenience I have summarized few hints here. So if we need something common to all given numbers, then we have to go for HCF. Example, so we need a number which can divide all given numbers. So we are getting that the required thing is smaller than all the given quantities or given number. Means required is just a part of given number, therefore it will be the HCF. Or example 2, if we have to divide the given different quantities or numbers into equal part, then that equal part will be the HCF only. So equal division of given quantities. Now this was how we can anticipate for HCF. Similarly we can anticipate for LCM. So LCM is a number which is bigger than the given numbers. Therefore, if we need something bigger than the given quantities which contain all given quantities, then we have to go for LCM. Example, if we have to find a number which is divisible by all given numbers, so whatever the given number will be there, we need a bigger number so that the new number will be divisible by all the given number. Means it will be LCM. Something larger than all given number is required, then we shall go for LCM. So based on this concept, let us go for questions. So the concept behind such question is that read the question very carefully and understand whether LCM or HCF is applicable. Use auxiliary concept like unit change, number adjustment, etc. See, one question is given here. So floor of a rectangular hall of length 28 meter and 28 centimeter and width is 25 meter and 48 centimeter is to be furnished with a square tiles of largest possible side. Means the side length of tiles is required. So a bigger hall might be given and this is to be fixed with a tiles. So what will be the length of this tiles? If we consider the L and L. If we consider the length of this hole as A and this breadth as B, then this L should be common to both A as well as B. Therefore, something common to both A and B is required, or a common number which can divide both A and B is required. So in such a case, for calculating the side length of tiles, it will be the HCF of A and B only. So this situation is like this, and here we have to find the side length of biggest tile, means find the side length of biggest size tile that can be used, and B, the area of largest tiles that can be used. Find the number of tiles that can be used along the length, means lengthwise, then number of tiles used along the width, and find the total number of tiles used in the hall. Here the length is given as 28 meter and 28 centimeter. So it is 2 unit, means 2 kind of unit, one is meter and one is centimeter. So better to convert it into single unit. So converting it into centimeter, it become 2828 centimeters. Similarly, the width become 2548 centimeter. Now represent this situation. So here we are taking this as the length, take this as A and this as the breadth, take this as B. Now we need a tile of largest side length. If L be the side length of this, then the side length L of this tile will be the HCF of A and B. Therefore, here explanation is written. Therefore, side length will be HCF of these two. And by prime factorization, we can calculate it very easily. So, 2828 is 2 square into 7 into 101. And 2548 is 2 square into 7 into 91. Here we are getting the highest common factor is 2 square and then 7 also. So HCF is 2 square into 7, it is 28. So this is the 28 centimeter is the length of edge of one tile. Means the tile is of the square set, so it will be the side length of tile. Now coming to the next part, area of tile, since it is a square, so this is 28, this is 28, so area will be the A square, multiplying, we are getting it is 784. The third part is number of tiles along the length. Here we are getting, coming to this figure, it is the first tile, this will be the second tile, similarly third tile, similarly there will be fourth tile, fifth tiles, so on. What will be the nth tile that we have? So here the length we have calculated, this length is our L and this is A. So number of tiles required along this length will be, so similarly number of tiles required along the width, so length of or side length of one tile is L. So if M tiles are required, then this will be given by B by L. So let us say it is written here. Number of tiles used along the length is A by L. It is 2828 by 28. It is 101. And number of tiles used along the width will again be the breadth of the rectangular hole be divided by the side length of tiles. it is 2548 divided by 28, it is 91. So this much of tiles is used along the length, this much of tiles used along the breadth. Now total number of tiles can be calculated by just multiplying these two, because this much is the row and this much is the column. So number of tiles is, multiplying 101 by 91, it is 9190. This number of tiles can also be calculated alternatively by taking the ratios of area of hall to the area of one tile. Now for the area of hall, again we have to take the length and width of the hall, and for the area of each tiles we have calculated earlier, it is a square. So substituting, we are getting, it is again 9190. This way how to calculate the number of tiles required. So first we shall understand whether LCM is required or HCF is required. Then auxiliary question based on that is framed, and that can also be calculated. Let us go for other question. This question is from your textbook exercise 1.2, question number 7. There is a circular path around a sports field. Sonia take 18 minutes to drive one round of the field, while Ravi takes 12 minutes of the same. Suppose they both start at the same point and at same time and go in same direction. After how many minutes will they meet again at a starting point? Also calculate the number of rounds completed. So we also have to calculate the number of rounds completed by each of them. Here we are observing that the time taken by Sonia is 18 minutes while by Ravi is 12 minutes. Means the time taken to complete one round by Ravi is smaller than completed by Sonia. So speed of Sonia is lesser than speed of Ravi. Means Ravi is moving faster. So after starting from the common point, Ravi will go ahead while Sonia will be just behind. So if Ravi R and Sonia represented by S have reached here, then after some time again the Ravi will move faster and come behind the Sonia. So by taking more round by the Ravi is able to catch the Sonia. So the time required is higher than time of each individual. Therefore, time required or required time will be that time which is in multiple of time taken by Sonia as well as time taken by the Ravi. Therefore, required time to meet again will be LCM of the time of Sonia and time of Ravi. Taking this, therefore time to meet again, time is LCM of time of Sonia and time of Ravi. Means LCM of 18 and 12, we are getting that 18 is factorized as 2 into 3 square and 12 as 2 square into 3. Therefore, LCM is 2 square into 3 square, it is 72 minutes. In this 72 minutes, we can find how many rounds completed by Sonia and how many rounds completed by Ravi. So therefore, number of rounds completed by Sonia will be total time moved by Sonia or total moving time of Sonia divided by time of each round for Sonia. So total time for which they are moving just before meeting is at least 72 minutes, 72, and time for Sonia to complete one round is 18. 72 by 18 is 4 rounds. So 4 rounds have to be completed by Sonia to meet Ravi. Now let us see, while the Sonia is completing this 4 round, how many round is completed by Ravi? So similarly, the number of rounds completed by Ravi will be total moving time of Ravi by time taken by Ravi to complete one round. Total moving time of Ravi is 72 and for each round 12, so it is 6 rounds. So here we are getting Ravi is moving faster, so he will complete the 6th round to meet Sonia again. While in the main time, Sonia will just complete 4 rounds. So this is how to calculate when they will meet. Here it is given on a circular path and in the form of time. It may be given on a linear path and in the term of distance. Let us see one example based on that. It is from your example problem, exercise 1.3, question number 12. So, on a morning walk, 3 persons step off together and their steps measure 40 centimeter, 42 centimeter and 45 centimeter respectively. What is the minimum distance each should walk so that each can cover same distance in complete steps? So the other question can also be framed based on this information. So in above case, calculate the number of steps covered by each person. Here we are getting that a step of the first person is 40, second person is 42 and third person is 45. So we need a longer distance L, which should be in multiple of these 40, 42 and 45, so that their steps will complete to meet again. So say it is represented as, let this entire length where their steps is in multiple be D, and this is a step of first, a step of second, a step of third. Therefore the required length is higher than all the 3 individuals, and this required length should be in multiple of S1, S2 and S3. Therefore required distance will be the LCM of S1, S2 and S3. So it will be LCM of 40, 42 and 45. Factorizing 40, it is 2 cube into 4. Factorizing 42, 2 into 3 into 7. Factorizing 45, 2 square into 5. Their LCM is given by 2 cube, 3 square into 5 into 7. It is 2520 centimeters. So after this much centimeter, the step of each individual will be in multiple. Now the number of steps covered by the first person, total distance moved, just to have the complete number of steps divided by a step of the first person, step length of first person. So total distance moved is 2520 and a step of first person is 40, it is 63 steps. The first person have to move 63 steps. The second person, total distance covered by a step length of second person, it is coming as 60. Similarly for the third person, number of steps covered is equals to, it will come as 56. So these are the number of steps covered by individuals. What kind of question was asked in 2019 in CBSE examination? Only the data was changed. On a morning walk, 3 persons step out together and their steps measure 30, 36 and 40 respectively. What is the minimum distance each should walk so that each can cover the same distance in complete step? So like earlier question, the required minimum length will be the LCM of the step length of these 3 persons. So it is equals to LCM of 30, 36 and 40. It comes out as 360. And number of steps covered by first person can be calculated by dividing this 360 by the step length of first person, means 30, it is 12. Similarly, the number of steps covered by second person will come as 10. The number of steps covered by third person will come as 9. So this is how to calculate the step of individual. Though this part was not asked in examination, but may be asked in examination or in NTSA. Let us go for next. So it is the question taken from the textbook, exercise 1.1, question number 3. The question is like this: an army contingent of 616 members is to march behind a band of 32 members in a parade. The two groups are to march in same number of column. Here the common thing is the same number of column. What is the maximum number of column that can be framed? So the maximum number of column in which they can march, this can be calculated by taking their HCF. How is that? Let us understand. Why HCF? Why not LCM? So let us consider the army contingent who are behind the army band. So let us take the band here. So B1, B2, whatever the number of band there may be. So these are the bands. And behind them there is contingent. So these are the contingent. Behind the band there is contingent, and this is forming one column. So band and contingent have to arrange in such a way that they have the same number of columns. So here we are getting that these columns are common. So this will be the first column, this will be second column. Likewise, there let us consider there will be the n column. So we need the number n which is common to both band and the contingent. So this is common to the contingent 616 as well as it should be common to the band 32. So obviously this n will be the HCF of the 616 and 32. So let us rewrite this. Therefore number of columns is equals to HCF of 32 and 616. Go for prime factorization method. The HCF is 2 to the power 3. It is 8 column. Here it may be asked that we have to find the number of rows of army band. So here we are getting these are the vertical column. So how many rows this band will form? Like this is the first row for band B1. This is the second row for band. This will be the third row for band. Going on. Let there be n row. Then this will be total number of army band divided by the number of columns in which they are divided. So it is 32 divided by 8. It will be 4 row. In 4 row the band will march, and behind them there will be army contingent. So let us also calculate the number of rows in which contingents are marching, which are behind this band. So number of rows by contingent, so this is given by total number of contingent divided by number of columns in which these contingents are divided. So it is 616 divided by 8, it becomes 77 rows. So there are total 77 rows. So there will be C77 will be the last one. This is how. The other question may be framed. So total number of rows in the parade, here we are getting. So number of rows in which bands is marching is 4, and number of rows in which contingent is marching is 77. Therefore, total number of row will be the addition of this 4 and 77. It will be the 81. Or other way we may also calculate number of rows is equals to total number of members which are marching divided by number of column. This number of column we have calculated as HCF of the army contingent and army band. So it is 8. Now total number of member is 32 plus 616. 32 are the band person and behind them 616 are the contingent persons. So the total members participated will be 32 plus 616, that is, so it is, on simplifying we will get the answer is 81 again. So it is again your 81. Let us go for one more question of the similar kind. So a sweet seller has 420 Kaju Barfi, 130 Badam Barfi. She want to stack them in such a way that each stack has same number and they take up the least area of tray. What is the number that can be placed in each stack for this purpose? Here we are getting that the number of Kaju Barfi is 420, number of this. Now these two have to be stacked such that the stack length should be same. Means the number of rows for both the Kaju Barfi and Badam Barfi should be same. So if I take the Kaju Barfi here, K1, here K2, going on, these are the rows. So this is the first row, R1, this is the second row. Likewise, there will be the nth rows, means n Kaju Barfi are stacked. Similarly, for the second column of Kaju Barfi, there is n Kaju Barfi one over another. So there are total n number of rows which is common to both or common to all the Kaju Barfi stack as well as for the Badam Barfi stack, which is denoted here by B1. Then here will be for the row 2 and here will be the B2 similarly. So therefore this n should be common for this Kaju Barfi number as well as this Badam Barfi number. So n will be the HCF. So maximum number of Barfi in a stack will be the HCF of 420 and 130. Go for prime factorization method. We are getting, it is 2 into 5. So it is 10 Barfi in each stack. So here we are getting that this n is nothing but it is 10. So now this number of rows in which the Kaju Barfi is stacked is 10. Number of rows in which Badam Barfi is stacked is also 10. And total number of Kaju Barfi here is 420. So number of columns can be calculated by dividing this 420 by this 10, it will be 42 column for this Kaju Barfi. Similarly, number of columns for this Badam Barfi can also be calculated. Here the number of Badam Barfi is 130 and number of rows is 10. So number of column will be 13. So this is how the number of columns for Kaju Barfi and for Badam Barfi can also be calculated. Here HCF we have calculated by prime factorization method, but this can also be calculated by successive division method, or Euclid division algorithm. So by that way, let us do it. So 420 is the bigger number than 130. 420 is number of Kaju Barfi, 130 is number of Badam Barfi. So 420 is 130 into 3 plus 30. So 30 is the remainder. So take 130 as the dividend and 30 as the divisor. This can be written as 130 is equals to 30 into 4 plus 10. Now again shifting this as 30 and then this 10 again here. So this 30 is 10 into 3. Now this remainder is 0. So therefore this 10 is acting as HCF. So number of stacks. So total number of stacks. Total number of Barfi by number of Barfi in each stacks. So this is 420 plus 130 by 10. It is 81. Or this may also be calculated by considering this number of stacks or column. Total number of column will be the column of Kaju Barfi plus number of columns of Badam Barfi. Here number of Kaju Barfi column is 42 and here it is your 13. So it become 55. So it will be your 55. So this way we can calculate the total number of stacks. Let us go for next question. Same as earlier one. So 144 cartons of Coke cane and 90 cartons of Pepsi cane are to be stacked in a canteen. If each stack is of same height and is to contain cartons of same drink, what would be the greatest number of carton each stack would have? Also find the number of stack of Coke and number of stack of Pepsi. So let us see this. Let us consider this as the Coke carton and this as the P as the Pepsi carton. So this Coke, all the Coke have to be arranged one over the another. So let there be in one stack there be n carton of Coke, means there is n rows. This is our row 1, this is our row 2 going on. Now this number of rows should be the same for this Pepsi also. Therefore the number of rows or number of cartons in each stack will be HCF of the number of Coke carton and number of the Pepsi carton. Therefore required number of carton in each stack will be HCF of 144 and 90. It is 2 into 3 square is equals to 18 is the answer. Here we can also calculate the total number of stacks formed, or this HCF can also be calculated by the successive division method. Answer remains the same. You can do it. So number of stack of Coke is 144 by 18. It is 8. Number of stack of Pepsi 90 by 18. It is 5. Total number of stack will be 8 plus 5. That will be 13. Let us go for next type of question. So in a seminar, the number of participants in Hindi, English and Mathematics are 60, 84 and 108 respectively. Find the minimum number of rooms required if in each room the same number of participants are to be seated and all of them in the same subject. So here we are getting that the number of participants is 60, 84 and 108. Now we have to distribute them into the rooms so that each room contain the same participants and they are of the same subject. Means each room have same number of participants, therefore number of participants in each room will be the HCF of 60, 84 and 108. This will come as 12. Therefore, minimum number of rooms required will be total number of participants divided by the HCF of these subjects, each subject participants. Substituting, total number of participants is obtained by adding 60, 84 and 108, and HCF we have calculated as 12. Substituting it, we are getting it is coming at 21. This is one kind of question. Next question is, 6 bells commenced tolling together and toll at interval of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and 12 minutes respectively. In 30 minutes, how many times they toll together? So here we are observing that a bigger time is given. So for tolling together, we need that time which is in multiple of all these given tolling time. For these bells to toll together, or for these all the bells to ring together, we have to first get that ringing time. That will be calculated by taking the LCM of all this time. So let us calculate it. So time t to toll together is LCM of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and 12. So these time are in minute. So LCM of all these are coming as 120 minutes. This may be converted into hour, it become 2 hours, because here number of time they toll is given in hour. So we may convert it into hour, or this 30 hours may be converted into minute than taking the ratio with this minute. So therefore number of times they toll together can be obtained by dividing the given time of 30 hours by the time when they toll together. Therefore, number of times they toll together in 30 hours is 30 hours by 2 hours, because after every 2 hours they are tolling together. So it is coming as 15. Now, this 15 is the number which is coming just after the very first time the bell had tolled together, means just after the beginning, means after the beginning, let that beginning time be 0, then after 2 hours they will toll very first, then after 4 hours they will toll second time, then after 6 hours they will toll third time, going on. So here this 15 we are getting, this is counted from here, this 2, so this is like 1, this is like 2, so going on. So lastly we are getting this 30 as the number of time they are tolling. So therefore the total number of time they toll in that, this means the very first ringing or tolling time also have to be considered. Therefore this 15 time after the very first toll commencing time, therefore total number of times they toll together is 15 plus 1. This will come as 16. So this is how to calculate. It is important question. Let us go for other question or other category of question. So this is from exemplar problem exercise 1.1 question number 5. The largest number which divides 70 and 125, leaving remainder 5 and 8 respectively are. That number we have to calculate. So largest number which divides means this 70 and 125. These are the given number. we need a number which is able to divide these 70 and 125, then it gives remainder 5 and 8. Means the required number is smaller than the 70 and 125. So obviously the required number will be HCF when this 5 and 8 is adjusted from this 70 and 125. Therefore, this required largest number will be the HCF of 70 minus 5 and 120 minus 8. It will be HCF of 65 and 117. Go for prime factorization. 65 is 5 into 13 and 117 3 into 3 into 13. Here we are getting this 13 is common, so HCF is 13. This can also be checked whether it is correct or not. Say if we divide 70 by 13, we are getting it is going 5 times and the remainder is this 5. And again dividing this 125 by 13, it is going 9 times. Now the remainder is this 8. So thus here we are getting, on dividing the 70 and 125 by the common number 13, we are getting the remainder 5 and 8. Hence 13 is correct. Let us go for other question. This question was asked in 2019. What is the largest number that divides 1251, 9377 and 15,628 and leaves remainder 1, 2, 3? Means here in this first number 1 is extra, here in this second number 2 is extra, and here in this third number is 3 is extra. Means if we subtract 1 from this, 2 from the second number and 3 from the third number, then that will be divisible by a largest number which we have to calculate. So therefore required number will be the HCF of 1251 minus 1, 9377 minus 2 and 15,628. Therefore required number is this HCF of 1250, 6,375 and 15,625. Therefore it will be the HCF will 625. This can be calculated by prime factorization of each of these bigger number. We can get the HCF as 5 to the power 4. It is 625. Or even this HCF can be calculated by the successive division method or Euclid division lemma. So that is also done here. So writing this in a stepwise, again we are getting the HCF is 625. Coming to the next question, we have to find the largest number which divides 438, 606, leaving remainder 6 in each case. Here we are getting, it is same as earlier question, but remainder is same. Here the first number 438 is producing remainder 6 and second number 606 is also producing remainder 6. Therefore required number will be HCF of 438 minus 6 and 606 minus 6. It will be HCF of 432 and 600. It will come as 2 cube into 3. It is 24. Therefore the largest number which divide 438 and 606 leaving remainder 6 is 24. Similarly next question we have to go. Here we have to find the smallest number which when divided by 28 and 32 leaves remainder 8 in each case. Here it is different. Keep in mind, here a number we need means this smallest number we need, let this number be n. Here then we have to find this n such that when this n is divided by 28, it leaves a remainder 8. Means if we take n minus 8, then this n minus 8 should be divisible by 28. And also for the second case, that this n minus 8 should also be divisible by 32. Then it's obvious that this n minus 8 will be LCM of this 28 and 32. Therefore, it can be written, let the number n, then n can be written as 28 into q1 time plus 8, and n can also be written as, when it is divided by 32, it gives remainder 8. Therefore, n can be written as 32 q2 plus 8. Here q1 and q2 are some integer that we may get. Therefore, in this case, n minus 8 is the LCM of 28 and 32. So go for prime factorization of 28, it is 2a square into 7, and prime factorization of 32, 2 to the power 5. Their LCM is 2 to the power 5 into 7, it is 224. So it is n minus 8 is our 224. Therefore, n, for calculating n, this have to be transferred on the other side. Therefore, n is equals to LCM of 28 and 32 plus 8. It is 224 plus 8, 232. This can also be checked. So here we had to calculate this bigger number. Therefore, we have gone for the LCM. This can be checked. So let us check it quickly. 232 by 28, quotient is 8, remainder is also 8 by 28, and 232 by 32, here quotient is 7 and remainder is again 8. Hence, on dividing this smallest number, that is 232 by 28 and 32, we are getting the remainder is 8 in each case. Let us solve one more question. So find the smallest number which, when divided by 28 and 32, leaves remainder 8 and 12. Here we are getting two different remainder. One is 8, another is 12. Therefore, if we take n is the smallest number which, when divided by 28 and 32, leaves remainder 8 and 12, then n can be written as 28 into q1 plus 8, and this can be written as 28 q2 plus 12. Now here the remainder are different. So we have to get the general solution of q1 and q2 which can satisfy this n. For that, we shall bring the relation between q1 and q2, then find a general solution or even a specific solution. So equating for n, we are getting that 28 q1 is equals to 32 q2 plus 4. This is the relation between q1 and q2. Here we are getting that 4 is common, so even this can be simplified as this. Now we have to choose for q1 and q2 such that this equation is satisfied. So if we take q1 and q2 in term of another variable k, so that this equation will be satisfied, then that will be the solution. If we take q1 as 8k1 minus 1 and q2 as 7k1 minus 1, and substituting, we will get it is satisfying. Therefore, it will be a solution. Means q1 is equals to 8k minus 1 and q2 is equals to 7k minus 1. Here k is an integer. We may take k is equals to 1 for smallest possible number or smallest value. So on putting k is equals to 1 to get a smallest possible value of q1 and q2, we get q1 as 8 into 1 minus 1, 7 and Q2 as 7 into 1 minus 1 6. Substituting this 7 and 6 to get the value of n, if we are taking n is equals to 28 Q1 plus 8 or n is equals to 32 Q2 plus 12. Therefore, calculate n by using any of this Q1 or Q2, we will get the same answer. So let us do it. N is equals to 28 Q1 plus 8. 28 into Q1 is 7 plus 8, it is 204. Even we may calculate from Q2, it is 32 Q2 plus 12. It is 32 into 6 plus 12. Again we are getting the same answer, that it is 204. Therefore, a smallest number which when divided by 28 and 32 leaves remainder 8 is 8 and 12 is 204. Even this can also be checked. So dividing this 204 by 28, we are getting the remainder as 8, and dividing this 204 by 32, this will be 204 by 32, we will get the remainder as 12. So this is how we can calculate the number. You can do more practice. Questions are given here. Another question, find the smallest number which when increased by 17 is exactly divisible by both number 468 and 520. So a smallest number which when increased by 17. So see, if we consider the smallest number n, so if this n is increased by 17, so this n plus 17 is now divisible by both 468 as well as this n plus 17 is also divisible by 520. It means n plus 17 will be the LCM of 468 and 520. Then finally we can calculate the n. Therefore, n plus 17 is LCM of 468 and 520. It comes as 2 cube 3 square into 13 into 5. It is 4680. Therefore, n can be calculated by transferring this 17 on the other side, and it is finally 4663. This is answer. Next question, find the greatest number of 4 digit which is exactly divisible by 15, 24 and 36. So we need a 4 digit number, but this 4 digit number should be the largest one, but at the same time it should be divisible by 3 number 15, 24 and 36. So largest 4 digit number is 999. Now we have to choose a number just below than this 9990, but it should be divisible by 15, 24 and 36. Therefore, a number which is divisible by 15, 24 and 36 will be the LCM of this 15, 24 and 36. So now this LCM can be calculated by prime factorization. We can get that LCM is 360. Now we have to increase this 360, means we have to get the multiplier of 360, which is just below 9999. For getting that, we can divide 9999 by this 360 and we can get the quotient. That quotient will give us the multiplying factor for 360. So required number n is multiple of 360 just lesser than 9999. So for that, let us divide the 9999 by 360. We will get 27 as the quotient and 129 as remainder. Therefore, the required number will be calculated by taking the product of this 360 with the 27. It becomes 9720, or here we are getting that 279 is the remainder which is generated on dividing 9999 by 360, means 279 is extra. So if we subtract 279 from 9999, we will get the required number, which will be divisible by 360. So on subtracting this 279 from 9999, we are getting the answer is 9720. So both are the same. So here we have to calculate, or we had calculated the greatest 4-digit number. It may be asked for a smallest 4-digit number, or it may be asked for 5-digit number, a smallest or greatest. Let us do one more question based on this concept. So find the smallest number of 4-digit which is exactly divisible by 15, 24 and 36. Here we have to get the smallest number of 4-digit. So smallest number of 4-digit means it must be just greater than 1000. But at the same time, that number should be in multiple of the LCM of this 15, 24 and 36. For that, the number n exactly divisible by 15, 24 and 36 will be the LCM of 15, 24 and 36. Going for factorization of each number, we are getting the LCM as 360. The same is also calculated in earlier question. Now we have to get the multiplier for this 360 so that it becomes just greater than 1000. For that, again we can go for division of this 1000 by 360. We can get the quotient, but at this time we have to take care that the quotient will give us the number which is just below the 1000. Therefore, for getting the required number, that quotient, if we consider q, this q have to be increased by 1. Dividing 1000 by 360, we are getting 2 as quotient and remainder is 280. So therefore, required number will be number in multiple of 360 and just above 1000 will be 360 multiplied by increasing this quotient 2 by 1, so that it will just increase this 1000. So this become 360 into 3, it is 1080. Or other way we can also calculate. Here the remainder is 280. The remainder is our 280, means this 280, and the quotient is 2 times only. So if we subtract this 280 from the 1000, that will come just below the 1000. But we have to reach a number just above the 1000. For that, we have to add the difference of this divisor and remainder to the dividend. So it becomes 1000 plus 360 minus 280, it is 1080. Therefore, required number is 1080. So this way how we have to add just for just below or just above than the given number, maybe the lowest 4-digit or highest 4-digit or 5-digit. Similarly, one question is given for the practice. So a smallest number of 5-digit we have to get, which is divisible by 12, 22 and 32. So here again We have to first get the LCM of 12, 22 and 32. It will be 1056. Now dividing the smallest 5-digit number means 10,000 by 1056. We are getting the quotient as 9 and the remainder is this one. Therefore, required number, increase this 9 by 1 and multiply it with the 1056, means the LCM. We will get the required number as 10,560. Let us solve one more question. Question is like this. If the HCF of 657 and 963 is expressed in the form of 657m plus 963 into minus 15, then we have to find the value of m. So here it is the HCF is expressed in this form. Means if we calculate the HCF of 657 and 963, then that have to be equated with 657m plus 963 into minus 15. By that way, we can calculate the m. So let us first calculate the HCF of 657 and 963. So that can be calculated by prime factorization. In this prime factorization, we are getting that the common factor is 3 square. Therefore, it is 9 is the HCF. This may also be calculated by the successive division method or Euclid division lemma. So that step is also written here. 963 is 657 into 1 plus 306. Now 306 is acting as divisor and this 657 as dividend. Therefore 657 is equals to 306 into 2 plus 45. Now this 45 as divisor and 306 as dividend. Therefore 306 is equals to 45 into 6 into 36. Now this 45 as dividend and 36 as divisor. We can write it 45 is equals to 36 into 1 plus 9. Now 36 as dividend and 9 as divisor. We can write like this, 36 into 9 into 4 plus 0. Here we are getting remainder is 0. So 9 is the HCF. Now this HCF 9 have to equate it with this given expression. So equating this 9 with the given expression 657m plus 963 into minus 15, rearranging 657m is equals to 9 plus, this will turn on other side to convert into plus, 963 into 15, finally m will be 14,454 by 627, it will be 22. Based on this concept or this idea, question was asked in 2019. It is like this. The same is also present in exemplar problem book, exercise 1.1, question number 4. So if HCF of 65 and 117 is expressed in the form of 65 and minus 117, then find the value of n. So first we have to find the HCF of 65 and 117. Then we have to equate that HCF with the given expression to find the value of n. So HCF of 65 and 117 is calculated and it is equated with 65m minus 117. So HCF of 65 and 117 is 13. Therefore 65m minus 117 is equal to 13. Bringing this 117 on right hand side and dividing it by 65, we will get the value of m, and m will come as 2. So this is how the unknown can be calculated. So these were the various categories of application of LCM and HCF. Based on this, the question are asked in various examination, in board examination as well as NTS. So this was Very important topic. This concept can be practiced more with this question. You people have to do this question, and if any doubt, please ask in the comment box or through the WhatsApp. So this was all about this class. In the next part, we will discuss about the two more application of the FTA, this fundamental theorem of arithmetic. There we will learn about the contradiction method, and we will prove that the number like root 2, root 5, root 3, that is imperfect roots, as irrational. And the next application is, without division of a fraction or without performing the actual division for a given fraction, we can predict whether its decimal form will be terminating or non-terminating, and it can also be predicted what is the place of termination if it is terminating. These two things we will learn in next section. With all this, thanks a lot. If any doubt, please ask in the comment box or through the WhatsApp. So thank you.